Hello everyone! Today I'm talking about the Spider-Man 1967 episode titled Phantom from the Depths of Time. It's the first of two episodes in the series that reused animations, backgrounds, characters, and voice work from a completely different show, Rocket Robin Hood. I'm going to talk a bit about the episode, maybe give a bit of history here and there, and then provide commentary while I show this sick, state-of-the-art side-by-side comparison I put together of all the reused material. And yeah, that in itself is almost 14 minutes long, so yeah, there's a lot. But before that though, I just want to say two things real quick. One, just so you know, I know that both of these shows were made by Ralph Bakshi, okay? And two, I just wanted to say thank you to all the people who responded to this poll I made. I didn't even know polls were a thing on YouTube, and honestly, I was just super surprised that so many people answered. So thank you for that, and I will definitely continue doing polls in the future because my ADD riddled brain always wants to do like 3 videos at once, and a lot of the time I don't do any. Oh, and shout out to all the webheads in the Spider-Man 1967 Facebook group. Alright, this episode first aired on ABC on November 2nd, 1968. It's the 8th episode of the 2nd season, which means it's the 8th episode that the legendary Ralph Bakshi worked on. And I explained all this in a big 48-minute Spider-Man 1967 video I made, but the short version is that after the first season, the people who were making the show, Grant Ray Lawrence, went bankrupt, and production of the show went to Krantz with Ralph Bakshi at the helm for the second and third season. And for those of you who don't know, Ralph Bakshi was the bad boy animator responsible for the first ever X-rated American animated film, Fritz the Cat. He later went on to do films like Fire and Ice, American Pop, that old Lord of the Rings movie, and a ton of other stuff. His animations were full of violence, sex, drugs, and rock and roll. But before any of that, he was working on Spider-Man 1967. And before that, he was working on Rocket Robin Hood. Okay, so just to be clear, the first season, the Bakshi-less season, is what most people probably imagine an old Spider-Man cartoon would be like, more or less, right? He goes around and beats up his famous villains while they try to rob banks and take over the world and stuff. The Ralph Bakshi episodes, on the other hand, are a bit more unique, in that they're very different from what Spider-Man was or has ever been since. Not to mention these backgrounds, man. They really just scream, I love taking hallucinogens. Anyway, there's a little abridged history to help prepare you. So yeah, where was I? Okay, so the episode starts off with Spidey swinging. We see some of those classic recycled animations that I've made a few videos about if you're interested. Spidey realizes it's a quiet night for a change, and he relaxes as he overlooks New York City, and then he decides to swing and dig it.
The city's quiet for a change. The low hum of traffic. Nothing to do but swing and dig it.
Suddenly, the scene transitions to this shot of an island. It zooms in, and we see this wild, dark fantasy jungle, and then bam, a floating castle surrounded by psychedelia. Dramatic zoom in on the castle, and then green balls that transform into giant green bug monsters. We then see some very panicked villager types. One says, "The hells move again, run for your lives," which, you know, implies that this has happened before, so tough break for these guys. Yeah, so then we see the bugs start paralyzing the villagers with their color-draining beam eyes. And eventually, after they're all frozen and captured, the bugs take them back to the floating castle from before, where we're introduced to the main villain of the episode. And no, that ain't Green Goblin, guys. That ain't, hey guys, that ain't Green Goblin. All right, come on, guys. Come on, I got a show to do here. No, that's Dr. Manta, and he's having the bugs bring him these people so he can force them into slavery and make them mine lavaside.
You will be my slaves until every ounce of this precious lavaside is mine.
And while the episode never explains what lavaside is, it does say that it will somehow make him the power of the universe.
Then you will make me the power of the universe. Put them to work, Igor. Whoa!
We then see one of the slaves getting loose long enough to get a message asking for help over the radio. Then meanwhile, in New York City, Spider-Man picks up the radio transmission using his spider sense, and it's coming from the direction of the open sea. Spidey then ponders for a moment. How in the heck is he gonna get across the sea to where the distress signal is coming from? There ain't nothing to thwip. There ain't nothing to swing on across the open sea. It's nothing but sky. Nothing but a psychedelia colored sky. Then, voila, he remembers where a jet is. And listen, I don't know if he's stealing this jet or if it's his, but Spider-Man does, like, literally say that he's never flown one before.
Well, Spidey, you've done everything else except being a test pilot. Well, here goes.
So it definitely doesn't seem like it's his, right? But thankfully, his lack of flight experience doesn't stop him from being able to fly the jet perfectly. He's a total natural. Meanwhile, Igor finds the slave that puts out the distress signal and silences him. Igor tells Dr. Manta about the distress signal, and Dr. Manta is like, I ain't worried. I got a bug army, baby. And Igor is like, yes, master. Yes. Meanwhile, ace pilot Spidey is cruising towards the island. His jet kind of looking like a spaceship or something. But it's not, obviously. It's just a jet. Why would it be a spaceship? It's nothing. Anyway. Then, when Dr. Manta sees that Spidey is getting too close to his floating castle island hideout, he commands his bug army to attack via his cool mind control space organ. And they surround Spidey's ship. Oh no, he's trapped. Oh god, things are hopeless. But then he realizes these giant bugs... These giant bugs aren't really giant bugs at all. They're giant robot bugs.
My hunch is right. These beetles are robots.
And along with being an ace pilot, Spidey is apparently also an expert in robotics because he climbs inside of that thing and takes control no problem. Then again, it does have a steering wheel and pedals, so maybe it wasn't that difficult. I mean, here's him saying, all right, it looks like this bad boy's got two settings here. It's got controlled by an evil space organ and manual. I'll just switch this down to manual and jump in the driver's seat, baby.
Remote and manual. That's simple enough. Think I'll take over for a while now.
This all happens, by the way, while Dr. Manta was prematurely celebrating his defeat of Spider-Man, but he changes his tone real quick when he sees what Spidey is up to and watches while Spidey causes the robo-bugs to crash into each other. Dr. Manta does the classic thing like, oh, this isn't the last time you've heard from me, you meddling fool, and it cuts to a burning pile of robotic insects. Spidey, meanwhile, finds the floating castle and goes into it, knowing that's, probably where the baddie will obviously be. This place isn't exactly inconspicuous. So yeah, then Spidey swings around the island for a bit and we get some shots of the fantasy world they're in. Then Dr. Manta uses his space organ again when he sees that Spidey is headed his way. But this time, he uses it to summon a rhino dino. This is a rhino dino. He kicks his feet, he charges up, there's this awful zoom in on Spidey. And then commercial break. Yeah, we get a little Spidey bumper, like how they do in anime.
Samurai Champloo.
I'm pretty sure this is like the only episode that does this, by the way. I might be wrong, but... So yeah, after that, we cut back to Spider-Man swinging, and we see the Rhino Dino emerge and charge up once again. And Spider-Man, as anyone who sees a Rhino Dino should do, bolts. He runs away. This is him running. One more time, okay. And eventually he's able to trick the beast into running off of the side of a cliff. Classic trickster Spidey. I would expect nothing less. Meanwhile, Dr. Manta is like, phew, looks like I finally got rid of that dang webhead. Hey Igor, tell the slaves to load up the lava side. We're getting the fuck out of here. But then the stone gargoyles that Dr. Manta apparently has that warn him of intruders or something, warn him of Spider-Man's approach, which have been shown through a few recycled swinging animations, which go on a while. Then suddenly, a giant bird chases him.
Giant gargoyle bird. Get moving, Spidey. Get out of here.
He ends up falling in a moat where an alien alligator thing is waiting for him, but then Spidey gets him with the old stick in the mouth trick. Classic. Then more swinging. Yay. And finally, our hero Spider-Man comes face to face with the dreadful Dr. Manta. And Dr. Manta is like, I'm leaving. And Spider-Man is like, no, you're not, man. After all that, you are definitely not, man. And Dr. Manta is like, fine, then I'll kill all of us then. And he awakens the mountain monster, who Dr. Manta says was programmed to destroy the entire asteroid. And I don't know why he said asteroid. He should have said island. He must have meant to say island, not asteroid. Weird. Anyway, Spider-Man gets the idea to use the lava side to help fight the monster for some reason. So he sprints there. Here's him sprinting there. And again. Okay, alright. So he loads up his jet with lava side, which he calls a ship. Again, for some reason instead of a jet. Odd. And then he flies it right into the monster. Just bam, right into the monster, causing a huge psychedelic explosion. But don't worry about Spidey. He was able to web parachute away. We then see Spidey explaining to the cheery villagers how Dr. Manta went about enslaving all of them through the use of giant robots controlled by a space organ thing. And the villager is like, how did you get here anyway, man? And Spider-Man's like, oh, fuck. I forgot I gotta get to my plane and get home. And he refers to it by a plane this time, by the way, not a ship, whatever. I don't know why he said ship earlier.
Get here? Come from? Oh, wow. Gotta get back to my plane and get home before someone finds it missing.
Then, another swinging montage. And while Spidey flies home in his plane, he says to himself, I can't make the smallest mistake or I could wind up 1,000 miles away from home. Because again, you all know how finicky planes are. And then bam, he's back in New York City, no problemo, baby. And yeah, that's it. And of course, that's not all. The other important thing to note about this episode was that it used a ton of stuff from a completely different cartoon, Rocket Robin Hood, which again was the show Ralph Bakshi was working on up in Canada before he went down to New York to work on Spider-Man. See, with Spider-Man, the budget was so low and the deadlines were so hardcore that Bakshi was basically forced to take drastic measures to make sure that a show was created. Sometimes this meant playing 5 straight minutes of recycled swinging animation while jazz played. And he really did do that quite often, by the way. And other times it meant using 90% of an episode from your last show and kind of just like throwing Spider-Man in there as best as you could. So yeah, without further ado, let's take a look. All right, so first it opens up with this the Psychedelia Castle. You can see it's also in Rocket Robin Hood. You get that really crazy shot in Rocket Robin Hood that you don't get in Spider-Man. All right, see the bugs. See, it's basically the same exact shot. Again, same thing. Literally the same voice acting there. The hills! Run for your life! Or the hills rise again, I think is what it says. Run for your life. Yeah, and then as you can see, it's just during this, it basically just a straight rip. As you can see, there's really nothing changed at all. For some reason, you can see in the Rocket Robin Hood version of that, they got rid of the girl screaming. They just cut out her going, ah! For some reason. So that's one difference there. All right, that poor man. All these poor people being taken away by the robot bugs.
If you wish to stay alive, you will be my slaves until every ounce of this precious labicide is mine. Then you will make me the power of the universe.
You can see it's the same thing on both.
Put them to work, Igor.
Gotta get that lava side somehow. Sorry, by the way, it's hard to find a good quality version of Rocket Robin Hood. For some reason, who knows why, right?
Mayday! Mayday! Anyone help! Calling anyone! Mayday! Mayday! Mayday!
Okay, cut. There we go. So yeah, same thing there.
Before I could silence him, he sent out a distress call. Before I silenced him, he sent a distress call to Rocket Robin Hood. You think anyone will listen?
I don't think so. And even if they do, how would they find us in the thousands of islands in the sea? Rocket Robin Hood. How delightful.
I do not understand.
Surely you haven't forgotten that he destroyed our plans once before. He's certain to respond to a distress signal. That meddling pest will walk right into our hands. We will have our revenge.
The heroes will march again tonight. Yes, Master. But what if someone still comes?
Then I have a surprise for them. Yes, a real surprise.
You mean the heroes walk again?
Yes, Igor, yes. Now, if my spider senses hold true, that island should come up on the scanner any second now.
Manta asteroid should be coming up on the scanner any second now.
There it is.
I'm not talking much. I guess there's really just not much to say. I'm just letting you see this for yourself, you know? It's just pretty wild.
Well, Spidey, take her down.
Take her down.
See, sometimes it won't be... Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and pause. Sometimes it won't be the exact same voice actor, but they'll use the same line. So you'll have Spider-Man's voice actor, Peter Souls, saying the same thing as the Rocket Robin Hood guy. Or Rocket Robin Hood, he's got a sidekick in this as well. And sometimes he'll say one thing and then his sidekick will say another thing. And what they'll do in this is they'll just have Spider-Man say both things. Anyway, unpause.
That's him all right. Now for our welcoming committee. That's him all right. Now for our welcoming committee.
Yeah, listen to the music in this one. And then it's so much better in Rocket Robin Hood, honestly. Listen to this one. Oh my god, what is that? So creepy and scary. I feel like they tried to make the Spider-Man 67 one like a little less weird with the music.
Lord, what's that? Good grief, they're closing in on me.
Closing in on us!
My hunch is right. These beetles are robots.
Any ideas? If my hunch is right, these beetles are robots. Remote controlled by Manta's sonic...
See the same line. Did you see his mouth moving there without anything coming out of it?
Out of my way now. I alone rule this island.
Yeah, that's the original.
Wonderful. How I breathe of this moment. The destruction of Rocket Robin Hood.
Look, Dr. Manta. He's climbing into one of our robots. He's going inside the robot.
What's he doing? I must stop him. Remote and manual. That's simple enough. I think I'll take over for a while now.
And they changed the colors a little bit in some of it. It's kind of hard to tell how much, though, because the original version that I have here is such bad quality of the Rocket Robin Hood, so I can't tell, like, maybe that green is supposed to be a little lighter.
Curse that meddling upstart! You've beaten me for the last time, Rocket Robin Hood.
But he's still alive!
But they're both still alive. Have no fear. He'll come after us. He'll play into my hand. And I still have a few cards up my sleeve.
Sonic impulses that operated these things were coming from that castle. That's where my man is. And I'm sure he has more surprises for me, so I better be careful.
The sonic impulses that operated those things were coming from that castle. That's where our man is.
Let's go get him.
I'm sure he's got some more surprises in store for us, so be ready for anything.
They're walking right up to the castle. He'll pay dearly for his heroics.
Okay, and again, we get some of this. So that's 67. Listen, obviously Spider-Man's the better show, but I prefer... Okay, so this is the Rocket Robin Hood music, right? Really trippy, weird. It's got that noise, and then yeah, here's the Spider-Man 67 music. Dun-dun, dun-dun-dun-dun-dun. Yeah, like, look how much that, like, doesn't fit with what we're seeing here. This is just like the generic Spider-Man swinging around music. Anyway, here we go. Some Rhino Dino action. That running animation from Spider-Man never gets old.
No place left to go. Looks like I've had it. No place to go but down.
Oh my God, what are you gonna do?
Costly, I'll admit, but at last my island is rid of that webbed invader.
Oh, whoops, I forgot to put the... That was Spider-Man 67, by the way. I guess I forgot to put the label on that part. Whoops.
He probably thinks I'm at the bottom of the gorge.
He probably thinks we're at the bottom of the gorge. Let's approach a bit more cautiously this time.
I'd better approach a bit more cautiously this time.
Is aboard the spaceship. We're ready to blast off.
Good. Now to destroy the mines and all witnesses. What's this?
The gargoyles. They've spotted something.
No. It can't be. Igor. It seems we have a guest in the run and fetch him. And no one leaves for that Igor. We have friends in the moat. Friends that need no encouragement from us.
I like that they added that Igor laugh in the Spider-Man 67, because I don't know why they did it, but they did it, and I like it. Look at this. Beautiful. Yeah, take that.
In a moment, Igor and I I will leave this desolate asteroid in a spaceship full of priceless lavicide.
Don't count on it.
The alligator?
He
developed a sudden loss of appetite.
I will not be denied my revenge. I will have satisfaction, even if I must die with you. Kindly observe the scanner. You will soon see the fate that awaits us all. The mountain monster is programmed to destroy this entire asteroid. You needn't have wasted your ammunition. The organ cannot be stopped. It is indestructible.
Then we'll
I'll
have
have to see how destructible your monster is.
You mentioned a shipload of lavicide?
Mentioned a shipload of lavicide.
No, not the lavicide. Oh, not the lavicide.
It was on the roof. I saw it as I dropped in.
It's on the launching pad on the roof. I saw it when I dropped in.
I saw it when I dropped in.
You want this ship to Well, Mountain, you're going to get it.
He operated everything from here.
Sonic waves
from this organ transmitted electrical impulses to artificial monsters.
They obeyed his every command.
They obeyed his every command.
Amazing. Might say they were all tuned into a loony bin.
Where do you come from, everyone? How did you get here?
So yeah, that part's great because they make the same jokes on Rocket Robin Hood. He's like, oh, you could say that he was tuned into a loony bin, right? They say that in Rocket Robin Hood. Everyone starts laughing. It does a zoom out of the castle, and that's how the episode ends. The classic, like, someone tells a joke, everyone starts laughing, it ends trope. I don't know, that happens in like a lot of old cartoons and sitcoms and things like that. Spider-Man makes that same joke, and they just kind of ignore him. So
Might say they were all tuned into a loony bin.
Where do you come from, everyone? How did you get here?
Come from? Wow. Gotta get back to my plane and get home before someone finds it missing.
all right, everyone, thanks for watching. Make sure to subscribe if you're not already, and to like it and all that other stuff. I am going to be doing part 2 soon, which will be, what the fuck is it called? Oh yeah, I will be doing part 2 soon, which will be Revolt in the Fifth Dimension, which is another episode that took a bunch of Rocket Robin Hood stuff, and it's even crazier than this one somehow. So be on the lookout for that. Okay, and thank you for watching. Thanks for watching. Have a good one.